ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับนี่ครับ
ยิน
Taiwan
ดีต้อนรับสู่ไต้หวัน Welcome to Taiwan
谢谢
Thank you for having the time with us today.
Absolutely, it's a privilege.
I'm sure last night's panel at Taipei International Book Fair was wonderful because I was there too.
Yes, absolutely. We had a wonderful turnout. I had to apologize a little bit because of the logistics. It was delayed in Bangkok first, and I was still calm. I thought I would make it. And we were circling around the air, and I couldn't read Mandarin on the screen what happened. So we got also delayed here in Taoyuan, in Taipei as well.
Yeah.
But the traffic was not so bad on a Sunday night. And we rushed and we got there 7:45 p.m.-ish, kind of.
Yeah, we have
and then we had maybe
minutes.
like 15-minute discussion, but I delivered a version of what I wanted to say to my Taiwanese readers, and we got some opportunity to sign autographs for the readers.
Yeah. And I know your visit to Taiwan at this moment is a very important time because of the Thailand's general election has just concluded.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so let's start from the most immediate topic,
Sure.
the election.
Sure.
Actually, I have amended this outline last night because of the election result is quite different from
Yes,
the pre-election polls.
Yes.
According to the pre-election polls,
Yeah.
People's Party should surpass the 151
Yes.
seats
Yes.
based on the 2023.
Yes.
But actually,
Yes. It went the other way.
yes,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Burunja Thai become the largest party.
Yes.
And I think People's Party will be the second party in the parliament.
I think so, yes.
So how do you interpret this unexpected setback?
Well, before interpretation, I think we should start with feelings, So I feel disappointed, but not in despair. Disappointed in the sense that we didn't get the outcome that we had wanted. We worked very hard for it. We strategized, we campaigned, we implemented, and we tried our very best. But that's life. Sometimes it's not always as what you had wanted, and the people of Thailand have spoken. Then we just have to be honest with our feelings for a couple of days. Take some rest and recuperate and regroup again, because numbers speak about what's happening today. I mean, the election result numbers speak about what's happening today, but it's the character that determines the future. Do you have that iron in you to govern Thailand? Do you have that resilience and perseverance, or are you only joyful when you're winning? Because people win and lose, and that happens sometimes. So yeah, I called my teammates to give them some encouragement and say that yes, we can talk about what went wrong, and we could analyze and do all these things and beat ourselves to death tonight, but that's not going to help, because yesterday is yesterday, today is today, tomorrow is tomorrow, and no matter how disappointed you are today, it's not going to change the result. So let's just take some rest, have some good sleep, sit on it a little bit, and then we'll start strategizing again. And next election it's a fresh start. Tomorrow is a fresh start. So that's the kind of feelings that I'm trying to send the message. Unfortunately, I'm not in Thailand with them to give to them, so I have to make some calls and using Taiwanese media to send the message back to my team. But yeah, I think we can learn a lot from this time around, rather than the 2023 when we won. But you can have a lot of lessons from your defeat this time. Just don't lose hope. That's the only thing, because you can always come back.
I'm wondering what is the reason make this result so different from the pre-election?
Yeah, I was going to get to the interpretation now, because I was talking about feelings. Interpretation and observation. I mean, it's probably too soon to analyze what went wrong and stuff like that, and I'm not going to do it in public in front of a camera. We'll probably have to talk about it in private with my teammates. But what's different, and something that's all over the internet and the media, and you can see it. 2023 and 2026, it's totally different ball game. Different environment, different ball game. In 2023, we came out of a lost decade from a military coup and dictatorship in disguise. I mean, they were participating in an election with two parties that disappeared this time, but they were military backed. Yeah. So at that time, the key success factor or the deciding factor was political spine. Political spine. If you are for democracy or you're for dictatorship. So we just use that political positioning that we have that political spine for democracy, and that separated us from our competitors. You know, that separated us from any other competitors. And it was a consensus or a common ground across all Thailand, regardless of how old they are, regardless of which region they come from, regardless of gender, regardless of zip codes. It just swiped throughout Thailand, and we won right away. However, in 2026, it's much more complicated than 2023. And that sentence applies to Taiwan, and that sentence applies to America, and that sentence applies to the entire world. In 3 years, the world is so different, yeah? From 2023 and 2026, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in Australia, whether it's in Japan, you know, things change very fast nowadays. This is the world we live in. And what's different in Thailand specifically is 4 C's. First is conflict. So because of the border conflict between Thailand and Cambodia. Second is about climate crisis, or the flash flood and or the forest fire and air pollution and things like that in Chiang Mai up north. And third is corruption, because of the scam operation that is impacting people all around the world, including Taiwan as well. Thailand is a hub of transportation that sends victims of modern slavery to neighboring countries and things like that. And lastly is cash. So economy. So we're growing at 1%, 1.4% or something like that. According to the Financial Times, pre-COVID level is like this. Vietnam grew by 40%. Thailand grew by 5%. And we're the second largest in ASEAN, but the slowest in terms of growth. So because of that the issues become very segmented, becomes very fragmented. You know, one region could care about climate, one region could care about conflict. The middle class, urbanites could care about corruption. Majority of the people of Thailand could care about cash because they need to put food on the table tonight. You know, so who has that kind of policies or the kind of thinking policy direction that helps them with each of them. So it becomes quite a different ball game that you require different strategy. You know, it's not the same strategy that if you apply it to 2023 and you want to apply it to the current ecology or the current environment in 2026, it's going to be quite hard. And I think that applies to all the elections too, and not just the Taiwan, all the elections across the world. Just because you succeeded last time, you could not apply the formula of what you had accomplished last time to this one. So you got to be really focused. And what I mentioned to my previous interviewer, I came up with my solo thinking last night is that the grand strategy has to be hyper-local. Hyper-local. Local in the sense that it has to be very grassroots, it has to be very participative. The campaign has to be 365 days for 4 years straight now. It's not just going to be like 3 months before the election and things like that. And I think that applies to all the Democrats all around the world also, not just in Thailand. So you got to be very, very on ground and on site, rather than relying too much on air or on net. You know, you on net meaning on internet. Yeah. So you got to be like really close to the people and really empathize with the people before you mobilize them. Politicians usually mobilize people more than empathizing with people. You have to empathize them first before you mobilize them. So it's me. I think once we process our emotion and process our feelings, then you probably have to do some exit interviews and go down to really rural areas in Thailand and really empathize with them, really understand the situation, really understand what it's like to be in this region and trapped in poverty and things like that, to really understand them once again.
Do you think the result signifies that the traditional Banya system and patronage politics has successfully suppressed so-called the ideological voting orange wave this time?
Well, it's probably too soon to tell. Too soon to tell because it's only one day and I haven't looked at the result in detail. But patronage system, dynastic politics that you mentioned, existed last time in 2023. It existed. It's been around for a long time and it's still the case now. So I'm not going to put a position that it's totally because of that. But the observation that we can make right now is that People's Party will be in opposition. The incumbent Phumjai Thai would probably need to find a coalition partner also. They're 190 something. They need to be 251, so they'll probably have to find a coalition. The battleground is becoming clearer and clearer that Thai politics is returning into the urban-rural divide. Urban versus rural divide, which is something that didn't exist in 2023. Whether it's urban or rural, they all voted orange.
But this also happened at Thaksin's era.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. You are correct. We share the same thinking that politics is returning back to 25 years ago, where the line between urban-rural divide is coming up. And if you look at the result, we have 110, 120 something as of now for my successor for the People's Party. And it's a Bangkok plus. So it's a Bangkok and metropolitan areas and all the flagships, all the beachheads, all the big metropolitan cities all around the world. So look at that as our asset. We still have that base of urbanites in the area. How do you, if it's being rationalized like this, how do you capitalize and expand it later? But you still have your core base for sure, but you cannot be a urbanite middle class party that focus on the issues or focus on the areas that is Bangkok, plus all the metropolitans. But it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world to me. So we still have to really understand and really have to expand to the rural areas. But I think that's starting to become more clear in this election, which didn't exist in previous election when I was running.
In 2023, I think the most important key factor you win is because of the generation divided. But you think this time is not generation divided, it's because of the urban and rural?
No, I would disagree respectfully. In 2023, it's not just about generations. So the oldest generation district in Thailand, we won. Like the people who are super aging society in a province called Lampang. Lampang is next to Chiang Mai. So Taiwanese people love Chiang Mai. If you come down to Lampang a little bit, you'll see a different vibe. It's a really nice town. So you guys should go. If you go to Chiang Mai, you should go to Lamphun and Lampang as well. So this area is very aging. So like 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 3 will be retired with no younger generations. We won. So even if it's older generation, older than me, they voted for us and we won as well. If you go down to Phuket, down south in the island areas, that's where the younger folks are. Even if it's like the border of Malaysia, the southern part of Thailand, that's where the younger folks are. Their average age is younger than me. They're like 39, something like that. We also won Phuket. landslide 3. So yeah, it was not so much about generation. A lot of older people voted for me. A lot of younger people voted for Move Forward Party. But so it's not just about it. It was about political positioning, in my opinion. Whoever had the strongest political spine, consistent, transparent, trustable, won that election in 2023. But it's a different ball game in 2026. Yeah.
So since People's Party will not be forming the government, and I think that Bunjatai will lead the coalition afterwards. What is your strategy for the future?
I live in Boston, so I'm a senior fellow at Harvard University, teaching young generations, including Taiwanese and Thais and Indonesians and Philippines, if they want to run for public office. So for me personally, I want to inject a lot of fresh blood into politics. I cannot speak on behalf of People's Party. I think that's up to the leadership to reconvene and decide on this themselves. But if I can speak as a Thai, as a civic Thai, a robust opposition is important to democracy. You know, that how do you measure the health or the vibrancy of the democracy? It's not just about how strong a government is. It's also about how robust the opposition is. So use that as an opportunity that you have gained so much experience and become such a good check and balance to the Phumjai Thai government. And be realistic in the sense of be pragmatic, be realistic, and put Thai people first in the sense that you're not going to use it as a political game. But if something is good for the country, you don't have to oppose. But if something that is about corruption, something that is about nepotism, something that is about inequality, then you oppose wholeheartedly. And pendulum swings. That's democracies. If you look at it, normally a pendulum swings. And next time could be our time if we do a good job, you know. And don't let our hope die with just today or yesterday.
Yeah, so now.
You
have been banned from politics for 10 years, and still there is still 8 years remaining, right?
Yeah.
And during this time when you cannot participate in politics, what is your plan? And actually, I want to ask, how do you stay relevant to Thailand's politics?
My plan is to listening to a lot of jazz, do a lot of yoga, squash, keeping myself healthy, vigorous, relevant to the world, and make sure that when my time arrives, I'm still capable and strong and more calm, more matured, that I understand what's going on around the world, even if I'm not in Thailand, but I travel to meet with Thais all around the world. I understand what the next generation AI or the next generation semiconductor is going to be, because I get to meet with Morris Chang and his wife. I understand how to handle or manage misinformation and disinformation and fake news and information operation from meeting with former Minister Audrey Tang. I understand how to manage aging society because I travel to Denmark and Copenhagen and understand what dementia village means. I travel to South Korea because I want to see what democratic resilience looks like in an autocratic era. And I think that's how I prepare. And I also learn a lot, and I also share what I have learned, from my past experience as the almost prime minister to younger generation. And you can never take for granted that the younger generation or the first-time voters will always vote for the progressives, will always vote for the Democrats, will always vote for the liberals. I think that's very evidential, very, very prevalent in America. And I don't know about Thailand yet because I haven't seen the results, but that's something that you really have to make sure that as a 46-year-old, a father of a 10-year-old, I understand my daughter and her generation. And I understand, people who are 18, 19, and 20 better than people who are 80 years old.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so if they voted for, populism, or they vote for bad elites, that is like old, retired people, it's my fault that I could not connect with them. So I have to connect with the younger generation. And if I'm successful, normally it's about 0.8 million new voters every year. So for 10 years, it's approximately 7 to 8 million new votes when I return back to politics. And hopefully I can, I can, oh, absolutely. That's no doubt about it. I can make their hearts sing with that 8 million votes that came out, including Thai people who live in Taiwan, Thai people who live in South Korea, Thai people who live in Japan, Thai people who live in America, Thai people who live in Europe. That's also an untapped market. And if I were to become a prime minister, I would be a prime minister for all, not just the border of Thailand, but here in the laborers and the students here in Taiwan as well. But yeah, my time will come. But I'm definitely not in a rush. I can take my time to listen to Miles Davis for a long time.
I noticed, although you cannot run for the office, but you were warmly welcomed during the campaign tour. You are like a Orange Party superstar. How do you think about this?
I don't think myself as a superstar as well, and we never believe in superstar in politics. The way we do politics is that it has to be institutionalized, both for ideological reason and practical reason. Ideological reason, I feel like the world is so volatile and it moves so fast and changes a lot. There's no Superman. There's no one Superman that can handle everything. There's no superstar that knows everything. So it has to be a team-based, a teamwork kind of thing that gets the country moving ideologically. And also practically, because we know that lawfare is something that is being used in Thailand. So Party 1.0, 8 months ban. Move Forward Party, ban. People's Party, ban. And, if that happens, succession planning and leadership development is most important, because you have to keep the momentum going. They can ban a man, but they cannot ban an idea. They can keep me away, but they cannot keep the values and ideology from going on. But if you focus on one person and you let it die with me, there's nothing left back home. So practically you have to plan your next 10 leaders all the time.
Next 10 leaders?
Yeah, next 10 leaders.
It's quite a lot.
Yeah, next 10 leaders as a team though. It doesn't mean that, look at Singapore, yeah? So Singapore, from Lee Kuan Yew to Goh Chok Tong to Lee Hsien Loong and now to Lawrence Wong, they have that incubation program almost to all the ministers and all the talent pipeline coming in, and a strong competition before it became Lawrence Wong. Yeah? They had many smart, capable ministers competing with one another like a portfolio, and finally, because of that competition, and Lawrence Wong came in, and succession planning became successful. And I think that's something that for some movement like my own movement, succession planning, leadership development, next 10 leaders is something that you really have to be integral, or to be a part of your strategy. Not just winning an election. Winning an election, we've done it before, but to make sure that there's continuity into the second one and the third one. It's almost like a rock band. You might deliver a one-hit wonder. First album is an ultimate hit, but the second album and the third album, and nobody cares. So it has to be that kind of marathon thinking, that kind of long-term view. And people is the most important in politics. So you gotta have to be able to inject new flesh blood into the party, and you have to import some talents, and you have to have some platform for people to join, feeling safe to be in politics and things like that.
But how many successors you have to prepare? Because every time the Constitutional Court banned not just one person, like last time is 11, right?
As many as it takes. That's the answer. As many as it takes, but it's not just a one-pronged strategy. It's a holistic plan in the sense that you have to win election, you have to plan your people, but you have to start dominating ideas as well. And I think this time the war of narrative was clear, including international community. If you read BBC, if you read Al Jazeera, if you read New York Times, if you read the Financial Times, if you read The Economist, it's very clear that they say it's becoming a norm now that the election outcome and the election result doesn't have to be the same in Thailand. Yeah. So it's being normalized in people's head, in journalists' heads, in Thai people's heads. You just have to really push back strategically, intelligently, that this is not okay. But it's something that the bad elites are very good at. How can you have 13 military coups in 100 years? Since 1932, so 90-something years, but let's say in 100 years, how can you have 13 military coups without much resistance? Normalization of coups. People feel like it's okay. So if there's a big conflict, let the military come out, and there's another coup after another coup. And that's okay because that's part of Thai way of things. It's being normalized in our head when it's not very normal to many other people around the world. In South Korea, it's just mind-blowing if a president comes out with a martial law. It's just impossible to imagine, and they would fight back, And if the military was ordered to kill or to shoot the protesters in front of the Blue House in South Korea, in Seoul, it's just unimaginable. And their parents were texting, and they said, if you kill someone, don't ever come home. You're not my daughter anymore, or you're not my son anymore. Because the ideas is so dominated that, it has to be a democracy and nothing else. So we have to have that kind of above the line pushback. That is not okay. That is not normal to have military coups. It's not normal to ban politicians of a lifetime. It's not okay to use morality as an excuse to get rid of political opponents, lawfare, judicial activism, judicial harassment, or whatever you call it. But that's something that, it's another big hurdle that we have to do. So winning election, incubating people, succession planning, and dominating ideas to push back anywhere, and including, because it's always in the headline that, he won the election, can he govern, or why struggling Thailand keeps voting for change that never comes. I think that was a tagline from Bloomberg. So because of that, people already believe it doesn't matter. And I think there would be a benefit of the hindsight that it's like psychologically, it's a reverse psychologically. That's why you vote for pragmatism. You voted for populism, because if you vote for a party that can never govern, why would you? It's futility. It's a futile attempt. That's those are the things that I think we have to push back.
Okay, the last question. I want to talk about your personal life. You are a single father who has to care of a young daughter, Pipi.
Yeah.
So how do you balance your life between carrying your daughter and juggling the busy political work?
I think the question is a bit off. It's not about a single father that has to take care. It's a single father that loves to take care of my daughter. She makes me a better person. She makes me listen more. So it's a good balance that when you when you become a politician, you speak a lot. You speak a lot in front of other people, and you try to always articulate what's on your mind and things like that. But when you become a father with your family member, you listen a lot and you ask questions. You ask questions what her feelings are and how you co-develop a relationship. So I become quite a good listener. I become much more patient in the way you do things.
Now, what kind of example you want to set for her?
I want her to be public-minded and to be free from what the society expects of her, and for her to follow her dream and follow her heart, but take her brain with her. Follow her heart, but take her brain with her. So that would be something that I could wish for from a father.
Okay, Mr. Pita, thank you so much.
Thank you.
ขอบคุณค่ะ
ขอบคุณครับ
And best
谢谢
wishes